is a Bramble Jam podcast.
Welcome to Girls Gone Hallmark, a Hallmark review podcast. I'm Megan, and I'm a longtime Hallmark fan.
I'm Wendy. I'm a former Hallmark hater.
Today, we are discussing the long-anticipated launch of the Royal Roundup of movies on Hallmark, the first of which is The Royal We, which originally premiered on the Hallmark Channel on Saturday, March 1st, and is currently available to stream on the Hallmark Plus streaming platform. Hey, you can always find us when you're not listening to the podcast. Come see us on Instagram, where we are Girls Gone Hallmark.
Also, we have a Facebook group. Come give us a join over there, Girls Gone Hallmark in Facebook groups. There's been quite a bit of discussion about the future of The Way Home over there the last couple days.
It's got me all fired up.
It does. You have to see it to believe it.
Everyone
guys.
activated Megan over there. Hey, I know some people just tap through these like housekeeping reminders, but wait, pause, listen. We're about to lose an episode every week because The Way Home is going away, but never fear. More Megan and Wendy is here for you. The best place to find us is on Patreon. What's Patreon, you say? It is a paid membership platform, but our Patreon is the bargain price of $5 a month. You can always get your very first week free to check it out over there. We drop random episodes every Monday. It is everything but Hallmark content over there. We are patreon.com/Megan and Wendy, and that is linked in our show notes. I do believe you told me that you have some Hallmark news and notes for us.
I do. The Hallmark Christmas experience will return later this year to Kansas City. I know you wrote an article about it on our website, girlsgonehallmark.com. But for those who don't know, weekend gatherings for fans will begin November 28th and run through December 21st. They can expect holiday activities and what I read as, not from your article, but quote, chances to meet their favorite stars.
That sounds like last year. Like the only opportunity to meet the stars is guaranteed toward those with the VIP package.
Who paid for it?
And everyone else is just hoping to run into them in the lobby.
Yeah, maybe that's why the lobby was so bumping
1,000%.
all the time. More information and tickets will be available come June. So is this something we're attending again this year? We haven't talked about it.
We haven't talked about it. Look, I would love to go back to the Hallmark Christmas experience. I had a really good time. I'm not ready to commit to going back to the Hallmark Christmas experience. It is a challenging series of 4 weeks to travel. It starts the weekend after Thanksgiving and goes up till the weekend before Christmas. I don't have an answer for that. What's your feeling?
I feel the same way. The travel is hard. Especially we're on the West Coast. To get to Kansas City, it's expensive.
Yeah.
Especially during that time of year.
It's hard to just be like, bye for a weekend in December.
Yeah,
when you got kids at home. We're trying to decide between Kansas City and Christmas Con and which Hallmark fan event do we make our priority this year. Because they all fall at the same time.
They do fall at the same time. And we're definitely not doing the cruise.
Y'all, could you do something in July? Christmas in July.
Seriously. I would be up for a cruise in July.
Totally.
Sit out there in the nice warm sunshine.
It was actually quite warm on our cruise.
I don't remember it being warm. I don't remember being outside a whole lot.
That's because it was hot.
It's like a
Don't you remember we were wearing flannel pajamas and we had to go outside and sweat in the humid evening air?
I don't.
Yeah, it was warm.
It's just all a blur. I have one more Hallmark news and note.
Yeah.
The Spring Into Love lineup was announced earlier this week. And I gotta say, meh.
Yeah.
Meh. For those who don't know, first of all, it's starting way earlier than it usually does.
Really?
Yes, I looked because it begins on March 22nd.
And that's early for Spring Into Love?
I looked back last year. Last year did not start until April.
Okay.
And it runs through April 19th. So it ends like a whole week before the end of the month.
Uh-huh.
And there's, at this time we're recording this, there is nothing planned for after April 19th.
Yeah, there's technically still room for that, we suppose.
I imagine they'll throw something up in there, but, you know, it's just this super weird to me. Let me just tell you, this year we're getting the collection of the Hearts Around the Table movies.
Yeah.
Jenna's First Love, Sherry's Second Act, Josh's third serving, and Kiki's fourth ingredient. And I gotta tell you, I'm not excited about any of these movies. I don't like a interconnected.
That's not true. That's not
I know. I liked The Groomsmen.
And The Wedding Veil.
And I know, but
This is different. I understand what you're saying. Mindy Cohn is the connecting piece in all of these.
yeah, I'm sorry. I can't get excited.
I mean, Mindy Cohn's bringing it on Pomeranian.
I know.
She's had a resurgence.
I know. I
But
just can't
I
get excited
hear
for
what you're
these
saying.
at all.
My understanding is these were originally scheduled for Hallmark Plus.
That's what I thought. Okay, now last year, you know what we got into Spring Into Love last year? We got Blind Date Book Club.
Yeah.
We got Branching Out with Sarah Drew.
Yeah.
We got One Bad Apple. That was the kickoff to Victor Webster on the Hannah Swenson movies.
Uh-huh.
We got Curious Caterer, Foiled Plans, which was a super fun installment in that franchise. I'm like, what is happening this year? I think with no facts, I think this is kind of maybe where like the change in leadership is starting to show a little bit, like things weren't scheduled.
Yeah, we're just filling space right now.
We're just filling space.
Yeah, it does. I think March feels a little disjointed to me. Like you have the 3 royal movies and then you have the start of this other Hearts Around the Table situation, March falling into April. We have one mystery movie in March. I have to assume we got to get one in April, don't you think?
Yeah, as
We
of
need
right
a
now,
Curious Caterer.
there's not anything scheduled right now.
Well, let's hope that more is coming.
I forgot to add there is one Dayspring movie as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Easter, y'all. Journey to You with Erin Cahill.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me just say this. I fell absolutely in love with Erin Cahill in the Holidays series. Mm-hmm. And the last Dayspring movie was John Brotherton and Brooke D'Orsay. And I found that movie so moving and lovely.
Yes.
So there is potential for that.
I have high hopes for this one.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Usually Dayspring makes me go, meh. but
Same.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do want to say that coming to Girls Gone Hallmark, we are doing a fan favorite month. We will be announcing the lineup of movies shortly. So if you are in our Facebook group, you got to have feedback into that. But we are doing 8 fan favorite movies. So you aren't going to be seeing a ton of these actual Spring Into Love reviews on Girls Gone Hallmark.
Previously planned.
Correct. Yeah, that was planned before. We didn't see the lineup and go, nope. No, this has been in the works, largely due in part to different spring break schedules,
Yeah.
travel plans, etc.
Yes, yes, yes.
All right, let's jump into a synopsis of The Royal We.
When her older sister elopes with a non-royal, Princess Bee, who has lived her life away from her royal duties, must now step in and honor the arranged marriage to a small kingdom prince.
The Royal We was directed by Claire Niederprum. The Royal We is in the hands of one of our all-time favorite Hallmark directors, with fan favorite films like Savoring Paris, An American in Austin, Taking the Reins, and as luck would have it, under her belt, knowing Claire is at the helm is a total game changer for us.
The script was written by C.J. Cox. Cox has 13 previous writing credits, including cherished Hallmark favorites like Rip in Time and Love Strikes Twice. Notably, Cox also penned the screenplay for the 2002 Reese Witherspoon movie Sweet Home Alabama. The screenplay is based on a story by Anne Black and Claire Niederprum.
Mallory Jansen plays Beatrix. Mallory's no stranger to Hallmark, having starred in last year's All I Need for Christmas and paging Mr. Darcy.
Charlie Carrick plays Crown Prince Desmond. Charlie has a healthy resume with projects like Hidden Assets and Hudson and Rex. This appears to be his first movie for Hallmark.
Simon Coons plays the butler Edwin Thuet Moreland. Simon has 103 acting credits, including roles in The Parent Trap, 4 Weddings and a Funeral, and Captain America, the First Avenger.
Nicola Posner plays Princess Carolina. That's not Carolina, it's Coralina. Standouts in her resume include a NCIS from 2022, as well as 20 episodes of the soap series The Bold and the Beautiful.
Ray Lim plays best friend Chloe. Ray's IMDb is a heavy mix of voice work and episodic television like Emergency LA and Avenue 5.
I gotta tell you, I don't know what Emergency LA is.
No, neither do I. It sounds like it came out 45 years ago.
Does it?
But Ray Lim is too young for that.
Yes. Adam Woodward plays Cody the plumber. Adam has an impressive stint on the series Hollyoaks with 348 episodes.
Let's take a quick break, and we're going to come right back with our first impressions of The Royal We. Hey, Wendy, what is your first impression of The Royal We?
Apparently, we need Princess Beatrix conflict resolution workshop in the Oval Office. Please send your emails not to girlsgonehallmark@gmail.com.
My first impression is a hot take, but I don't think we need any kings in our royal movies. Or in our White House.
Oh my God, that is so funny. Too soon.
What did you like about The Royal We? Can I get a quick overall? You're not excited about royal movies.
No.
Did this one, in terms of your expectations, like where did it fall?
For me, it's going to take a lot to turn me on a royal movie. Like, this wasn't it. I didn't think it was terrible. There were a lot of things I liked about it, and we'll get into it. But I didn't go, oh my God, I'm all in on royal movies now.
Yeah, no, I never thought that was going to happen.
What about you?
I thought it was fine. That's my overall feeling. I thought it was fine. Like you, there are things that I liked, but I also think a royal movie has a lot of work to do to become a memorable, enjoyable.
Why do you think that is?
I'd like to save it.
Okay. Well, let's talk about what we liked.
Mallory and Charlie are an absolutely dynamic duo. Wendy's making a face. I thought they were great, and you cannot convince me otherwise. I will allow you to have your opinion, but for me, I thought they were real cute together, especially when they're just being normies and they're not being royal.
You're right about that.
I actually think Mallory Jansen carries herself in a way that comes off as regal, and there are moments that are a bit reminiscent of Princess Kate for me, and I'm sure some people find that blasphemous, but I buy her as a royal in hiding in this role, and I liked the development of their relationship from acquaintance to flirtation to romantic. I didn't love the timeline of the I love yous and the proposal, but I liked their relationship development.
I will talk about them in my wishes, but to piggyback on Mallory Jansen, to me, I think she's great. I think she, in this movie, gave a really strong performance. I thought she had some really good comedic timing because, and I'll get to it in a minute, but the script, there was a lot of like very funny stuff in it, and I thought she executed that really well. I thought there were several good moments between she and best friend Chloe, and I preferred those scenes to the ones between she and Desmond. But you're right about they were better when they were normies.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I feel like I have some sort of like internal, what's the word here that I'm looking for? Dislike for royal stuff. And so like when they're like cosplaying, they're not cosplaying, but when they are
Question. Are you interested in the actual royals?
not really.
Yeah. Okay.
By the way, going there next month.
Yeah, but you can have like a London experience without having any royal experience.
We are going to Windsor.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I remember several years ago when we were getting ready to go to France and there was a Hallmark French movie.
Yeah.
And I was like so hyped on it because I was like, I'm going there. And I was like, this is the greatest movie of all time. For some reason, I'm not having that same experience.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's super weird. Shut up.
I'm just saying, I don't think this is the movie that's going to make you. First of all, it's not set in England.
You're right. It's not. It's set in like some weird fictional.
Some made up fictional country.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really think, to your point about Ray Lim, I think she and Simon Coons as the butler Edwin are standout supporting roles. Edwin provides a ton of comic relief. I love the shade he throws at Desmond when he talks about him being like, you know, just a super regular guy traveling on his PJ. I loved him in this role. Deep cut in his role as the butler in The Parent Trap as well. I thought they were really fun. And Ray, someone in our Facebook group mentioned that she reminded them of Awkwafina, and I could not agree more.
Mm-hmm.
I have not seen Awkwafina in a ton of things, but I have seen Jumanji. And that's a great role.
Is she in Jumanji?
The second one.
Oh, funny.
Yeah.
You know, that is like the second or third time you have referenced Jumanji like this year on this podcast.
Oh, that's because Jumanji is one of Sir Darius Blaine is in it.
Right.
But the remake is one of our family's favorite movies. The first one. The second one is like funny, but it's the first one, all four of us laugh like loons throughout the entire thing. There are some Kevin Hart and Jack Black are so good in that movie.
Am I gonna have to watch it this weekend? I know I've seen it.
Jack Black plays a woman in a man's body, and he plays like a 16-year-old girl in Jack Black's body. It's saying it out loud feels like it should be problematic, and if you did it the other way around, it would be. But like, it's such stupid humor, but we love it.
Nah.
Cake makes me explode. Guys, girlsgonehallmark@gmail.com if you too love Jumanji.
I'm going to watch it this weekend, Megan. I'm going to watch it this weekend. Here's kind of a hot take. Not really. What I liked about Beatrix and Desmond's relationship, that while it was an arranged marriage, the whole point was because they were trying to navigate these like political alliances between these two families. And I was like, that's an interesting take on things versus what the sister did, married a commoner, and which I think next weekend's movie is about as well. So it was kind of a nice, different street they took. I like that Claire Niederpruem did this movie. And it's hard for me because there's so many movies of hers that I like. So I'm not trying to like dog on this movie, especially because it has this female director. So in that vein, like there were a lot of things that I really liked in this movie. But what I liked best was all of the like more relaxed everyday moments. The bowling scene I thought was really funny.
Yeah.
Really enjoyable. I actually liked when Desmond was, like you said, like more of a normie, when he was more relaxed. Like when he's all in that like royalese.
Sure.
I can't get into it.
No, me either. I don't like that either.
I can't get into it. And I do love a fish out of water moment, but Desmond didn't know what bowling was. You can't tell me that bowling
He does know what bowling is because he's a freaking bowling star. They have a bowling alley in the palace. That's the whole point of that scene. He like hustles her.
I totally didn't catch that at all. I'm sitting here with a dumb look on my face right now.
Pretty sure he hustles her. I'm pretty sure that's the whole thing. And they have I'm almost positive there's a scene later. He's like, we have a bowling alley in the palace. And she's like, that tracks.
What?
Did I make this up?
I don't know.
I don't think I did.
I think you're right. There were some really good lines in this movie. One, what I thought was really funny and reminded me of a Taylor Swift song was Desmond's dad was going off and he's like, "Father, it is 8:00 in the morning." It just made me laugh out loud. I
Need
thought
to
that was,
calm down.
yes, I thought it was really funny. Polo Bros, I also thought was very funny. There was a line about boxed wine, drinking boxed wine. I thought was very funny. There was lots of good dialogue. But with that said, when it gets coupled with like the royal talk, like when it's like so formal, I'm like, I'm tapping out.
I hear you. I have two more little likes.
So do I. Go ahead.
I liked the final table assignment scene, the seating arrangement
So did
scene,
I.
with like little flashes forward to our next two movies. I think that's a nice way to tie them all together. It makes me feel like, oh, these were done with some forethought. I'm curious if we'll see any flashback to these movies at all, any interconnectedness in the next two movies.
Do you think that was an afterthought?
It certainly could have been.
I'm just curious. Like, were they like, okay.
Yeah, which came first?
Yeah, which
chicken
came
eggs.
first? That's good.
Yeah, I don't know. And finally, I thought it was really fun where we had the many social media interludes with public opinion about what's happening via hashtag. A lot of this movie strikes me as inauthentic in terms of what's going on with the royals, and it's in my wishes, but I think that is an incredibly authentic, maybe less so with some of these minor royals, but I don't know what it's like to live, you know, worldwide people are aware of the British royalty. I don't know what it's like to live in a country with a smaller country with lesser known royals. But certainly with the British royalty, public opinion plays a huge role. The gossip about them is huge. And it was fun. Like the hashtags I thought were great. They made me laugh.
Yeah, I liked them too. It feels, because we're on social media so much, that when it happens on our TV like that now, it's just like, I don't clock it as like, oh, look what's happening on my TV in this movie, because we consume all that stuff anyway. My final last little like is I very much enjoy the objectification of Cody the plumber.
Oh, yeah.
Thought it was very funny.
Coralina's like, I know, right?
It's very funny.
Yeah, even he kind of seems to be in on it too. Let's talk wishes.
Okay.
Can I go first?
Yeah, of course.
I want to put it into context why I think you don't like these movies.
Okay.
I think it is incredibly hard to do royal movies well. And I think that is because our understanding of the way royal life works is missing the mark. I think this vision of people dressed in full regalia for their day-to-day lives, not just for a ceremonial event, but like flying on an airplane, you're in like all the patches and the cords and all. I don't think that's authentic. I think day-to-day life is rather mundane. I'm sure there's meetings, I'm sure there's this and that, but it exists in a palace, but the idea that the queen is being followed around by a butler who's carrying her iPad in front of her, walking backwards. I think we've over formalized this vision of royal life to the point that it looks like a caricature, and I can't invest in it because it feels almost cartoony. And I think one of the ways that comes through is in this movie is with the accents. These people speak French. I don't know where these fake countries are, but they speak with British accents. And the second Beatrix slipped into her accent, I was like, oh, I'm less interested in you now. I love an accent. I love a real accent. Give me an accent all day long. But
she's an Australian.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So her American accent is also put on.
Correct.
And I'm not saying I think she did a bad British accent. I don't think any of them did bad accents. I just felt like, we've decided that the royal accent is a British one, even though these aren't British royals. They're in a territory that speaks French. It strikes me as inauthentic. And finally, the idea that international relations are solved by two blustering and pompous kings just yelling back and forth at each other, and then an icebreaker-style conflict resolution run by the new princess who has been in hiding is silly. I think it is fair to admit that it is silly. And I know it's Hallmark, and I know it's supposed to be low stakes, but I find it silly.
Therefore, then it makes these movies not as interesting to watch.
I'm like, I don't care about these scenes. Like, I liked the fish out of water part of it. Like the idea that Desmond's character can't just like go out for pizza because he'll be mobbed. But Beatrix's point is like, nobody knows who you are. Like they don't care here. You don't need a security detail of 6 people because nobody put on the Boston camp. Nobody.
Yeah, you'll just blend right in. Nobody cares.
Yes.
Yeah. Back to the Kings. I did enjoy their shouting match. Man, those insults were low blows, I thought. I know. Fake hair and then spandex. I was like, woof.
Yeah, kind of fun.
It made me laugh. But what I hated, and this is literally what I wrote in my note, and you can bleep this out. I hated the swinging between the 2 royal kings. I'm like, I don't care. Like, I don't care.
Me either.
Now I'm going to talk about Beatrix and Desmond.
Okay.
I did think they had great banter. The romance was just not there for me. There was no there was no spark. There was no like chemistry that made me like root for them as a couple. That's what I want to do in these movies. I want to root for this couple getting together. I didn't care. I didn't care. For example, in An Unexpected Valentine, and that's the only movie I picked because it's fresh.
Yeah.
The entire movie, it was like leading up to these 2 being together.
Yeah.
I was rooting for those 2 to be together. This one, I was just like, nah, are they going to save their 2 kingdoms or whatever?
See, I liked it. And I because I love a fake dating. And this isn't really fake dating, but it's like the royal movie equivalent of a fake dating situation. I liked the setup and I liked them. But I had a really hard time getting behind like Sister Coralina bounced on the engagement. And so now Bobo's sister is going to have to come in and save the day. I was like, man, just the public opinion alone, I would not be able to get past the fact that like I'm supposed to care about the future of my kingdom so much that I know people are going to be like, oh, now I'm the spare. Now I'm the second choice.
Yeah.
Even knowing that people might accept that it's an arranged marriage, I'm like, I'm just supposed to come on in and give up my entire life because my sister bounced. To balance that, they did address it. And Coralina says, like, I realize this is asking a lot of you, to which Beatrix responds, like, you did allow me to live my life in secret for the last 20 years. There is a little bit of give and take there. And I don't think Coralina's in the wrong for marrying for love, but I also don't think Beatrix needs to come in and be like, okay,
give up the rest of her life.
I'll marry this guy.
Yeah.
This isn't the life I live anymore, but.
And maybe that is another reason why like I can't buy into these movies, because we just don't live that kind of, like, I realize arranged marriages exist in our world, but because they don't happen in my everyday life, maybe that's why I can't like buy into it. Because to me, I would be like, no, I'm not giving up everything I've built in the last 20 years for my own life now to go save my whatever.
I also perhaps don't understand international relations well enough to make this make sense, but I was trying to figure out what benefit it has for the kingdoms to have their children married. Like, oh, we got to get along because now we're all related.
Yeah.
How does that change the fact that they're arguing over this dispute? I did not understand it.
I agree. I have one more wish.
Okay.
Sometimes this movie leaned too far into hijinks for me. Like when the guys are trying to track Beatrix down in Boston and they're being followed at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
And Chloe like jumps in and she's doing karate.
Yeah, that was silly.
I was like, get out of here. Like, stop it. I hated it. Also, the freaking like off-road moped chase. Stop it right now. First of all, it's like jumping on a scooter that you would find here in like
a bird scooter. Yeah.
And they're literally, the moped is going over like terrain. And it's just so dumb to me. It's just dumb to me. It's dumb to me. I also have one more wish.
Do these people not have phones? Why can't you just be like, Desmond, stop and turn around.
Good question. I didn't even realize. Yeah, like
Yeah, you
why
gotta
do you
chase
have
him
to chase
down and then
after
go
him?
running on foot.
What happened to the foundation that Beatrix and Chloe work for or own or whatever? They're like,
I don't know.
there's girls
Did
in
I-
STEM.
I don't know if I forgot it or if they just didn't acknowledge it.
Like, I feel like at the end, like it just was.
Because
they
she
had
was going to
forgotten
go
about
back to work and then she was like, wait, no, I still like this guy. I don't know if her and Chloe have some sort of resolution there that I completely forgot about.
So I was wondering about that. But the scene, there was a great scene between Beatrix and Desmond, and where she's like telling him, this is what we do with our girls. And like we
Yeah.
explained to them, we explain like life doesn't end at marriage. I'm like,
Yeah.
what are you doing then? Stand up for yourself. Anyway, that's all.
Let's talk. Did you see that?
I don't have many. Mine are mostly just questions and observations.
I have a true. Did you see that?
Tell me.
When they are shopping for Boston gear from a street vendor, Desmond picks up a sweatshirt hanging on the rack. And when he first picks it up, it's clear that he grabs two sweatshirts. And so there's a blue one and there's a pink one directly behind the blue one. And then the next shot that he's only holding the blue one and the pink is back hanging on the rack. Tell me your questions.
That is a true. Did you see
A
that?
true, did you see that? I was like, yeah, I clocked it. I even rewound it to make sure I saw it correctly.
My first one is, what age are these people supposed to be? Because they talk about how Chloe and Beatrix met as sophomores in college, and you are what, 20?
Yeah.
And at one point, Chloe's asking about Beatrix, her accents, and she says, I've known you for 20 years.
You're right.
Is she supposed to be 40?
You're right.
Explain it to me. I also thought some of the costuming was whack in this movie.
What was with the asymmetrical collar on her suit early in the movie? I sent a screenshot of it to Keith Costumes.
Did you?
I was like, what do you think of this asymmetrical collar? And all he responded was, is she in fashion? And I said, no, but he never weighed in with an opinion. Maybe he doesn't want to knock another costume designer's choice. But I have the screenshot. I don't want to turn she's wearing like a teal suit jacket. And on one side, it's like a standard lapel. On the other side, there's like a tiny little collar and the rest of the lapel does not exist.
So I think we might be thinking about the same like dress suit. And it made me wonder, like, why are they putting her in these like mature?
Well, she's running a foundation. She's running a business.
Well, that's what made me wonder. I was like, how old is she supposed to be?
Yeah.
I turn 50 tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing that.
Yeah, but we're not in business. We're not presenting to investors.
I would wear a nice, I thought Chloe dressed more age appropriate, but still at a level of professionalism that was.
I agree with you. One last devil's advocate comment. I do think California professional and New York professional are different styles.
She was wearing like nude pumps, guys.
Maybe she can't shake the royal in her.
Maybe. And I also thought like their gowns were like, their royal like gowns were kind of boring. Beautiful colors. Everything was like kind of like a solid color. And maybe this is because I don't know anything about royal stuff, but couldn't it have been like more embellished or more like wow?
Well, this is the other reason why I think it's hard to do royal movies. I think it's the same reason it's hard to do high fashion movies.
Mm-hmm.
The authenticity piece, I think, falls apart at some point.
Yeah. My last, did you see that? And this is a compliment. Mallory Jansen's hair is just so good.
So good.
Great hair.
When they try to tame it in that updo and then they kind of let go of that, I was like, no, her hair's so good. And then they kind of let her be her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
What did you rate the Royal We?
I gave it 3 stars.
Me too.
Oh, interesting. Like I said, it's going to take a lot to win me over.
Hey, thank you for listening to this episode of Girls Gone Hallmark, a Bramble Jam podcast. Before you go anywhere, we want to hear your thoughts on our reviews on these movies. We are trying to continue our mailbag episodes, which we've been doing largely for The Way Home, but we'd like to make them happen going forward. So if you have thoughts
Yeah.
on our thoughts, if you have thoughts on these movies, if you have thoughts on these actors, if you have questions, if you have opinions, email us girlsgonehallmark@gmail.com, and you just may hear your thoughts read in a future episode of Girls Gone Hallmark. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
All right, friends, before we go, just a quick heads up. You're about to hear some ads. These little gems help us keep the show running and the Hallmark love flowing. So do with that info what you will. Grab a snack, hit the skip button, or maybe, just maybe, listen in and discover your new favorite product. Bye.